Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Sarah Seams podcast. My name is Sarah. I'm coming to you from Columbus, Ohio. This channel is my corner of the internet where I share all about my crafty projects. Today we have a lot of knitting and a lot of spinning. It is Sunday, July 27th, and it has been very hot and humid here. It is like one of the most humid summers we have on record, and it has been at least in the high 80s, if not 90 degrees, pretty much every day for the past couple of months. So we are really in the heat of summer, but I'm here to share all my woolly projects with you, so make it make sense, but it's okay. I love being inside in the air conditioning with my wool knitting when it is that hot. So I have a ton to cover today. I'm definitely going to be referencing my notes a lot just because I have a few different things today, but very exciting news. I'm going to talk a little bit about the knit along that I've been hosting, and we're going to do the first prize drawing. I'm also going to share finished objects, including what I'm wearing in this very fun bright color, couple other knitted objects, and all of my spinning from Tour de Fleece this past month. And then I have only a handful of whips for you today, way less than I usually have, way fewer than I usually have, and then quite a few plans for upcoming cast-ons and a little bit of chat. So it's going to be a jam-packed episode. I think we should get started. Little bit of admin at the top. If you would like to follow along with me on social media, you can find me on Instagram at Sarah_Seams or on Ravelry at Sarah Ribble. And all of that information is down in the description box below, as well as my email if you'd like to reach out to me about anything via that. I also will link my Friday Fiber Chat videos from the past month in the description box. So each month I put out, basically every week I'm coming to you with a video. Once a month I do this normal podcast style long form video, and then on the weeks in between I'm doing little shorter bite-sized videos that are called Friday Fiber Chats. So in the past month, the 3 of those that I did were a July 3rd vlog, which was really fun. I kind of took you along for a fun summer day. We went and saw some fireworks, so that one was really fun and kind of different. Then I shared my Tour de Fleece plans, which if you watch that today, you'll see how much I got done. And lastly, I talked about the new Drea Renee Knits, Andrea Mowry Rhinebeck sweater pattern, the Ooey Gooey, which I have some thoughts on the name I'll share with you, and what yarns I was using for mine. So those are the 3 videos from this month. If you're interested in checking any of those out, they'll be linked below. All right, so let's get to the exciting bit first, the prize drawing. So I'm currently running my first ever knit along. I've made several videos about it, so I won't go into too much detail here. I'll link the information below if you're interested, but basically it is the Scrappy Summer Sock Along, and we are just knitting scrappy socks. So we are in the thick of it right now, so the knit along is running until September 22nd. There's going to be 3 prize drawings. We're doing the first one today. There'll be another one in about a month, and then the final one will be at the end to wrap up. Yeah, all you have to do is knit socks using at least 1 scrap yarn, which to me is a yarn that is left over from another project, so you've already used some of it. And then you just need to submit a photo of them via my Google form, which will be linked below, and it's also linked in my bio on Instagram. And that's it, easy peasy. Whips are welcome. What's all the other info? You can enter multiple times, and the entries are cumulative. So even though we're doing the first drawing today, if you entered a couple pairs or a pair already, those will still count towards the future drawings. So the further we go, the more entries there will be. So your chances of winning are higher if you get them in for the next drawing, for example, or if you had it in for this drawing. But if you entered and you don't win today, your entries don't go away. They'll still count towards the future drawing. So the more you knit, the higher your chances of winning. I think that's all I'm going to say about it for now. If you have any questions, please let me know in the box below. And like I said, I'll link all of the information as well. I did quickly want to just give a refresher on what the 3 amazing prize packages are, since we're giving away the first one today. And then whoever wins the drawing today will get to choose which of the prize packages they want. Whoever wins the next drawing will get to choose between the remaining 2. And then whoever wins the last drawing will get the remaining prize. So the first one, and I'm calling this the nautical theme, is this amazing handmade scrappy bag. All of these amazing project bags were made by my friend Nicole. Thank you so much, Nicole. They're all made from entirely upcycled materials. You can see the denim pocket. They've got a really gorgeous lining. So in addition to this, you will get this skein of yarn, which is Explorer Knits and Fibers. Their Denali sock. The color is Voyagers. You will also get a measuring tape and a pair of snips and a set of stitch markers that were made by my sister. She works at this brand called Red Giraffe Designs, which is a local business here in Columbus. They make a lot of fun custom jewelry, and they made these stitch markers for me. And this set is the nautical set. So you can see there's a little seahorse, starfish, all kinds of fun little sea related things. All right, so that is the first prize package, the nautical set. Okay, second one is what I'm calling Tutti Frutti. So this is the amazing bag. You can see the patchwork pockets. Each bag has some gorgeous sashiko stitching on it. They all have like a little carabiner. I mean, even the ties are handmade. They're pretty amazing. Here's the inside. The skein of yarn in this bundle is from Undercover Otter. Really fun colorway. This one is called Would You Kindly. This one also comes with a pair of scissors and a tape measure. And the stitch markers for this set, are the little fruit themed, also made by Red Giraffe Designs. Probably my personal favorite, the little enamel fruits, really, really cute. All right, one more. And this is my personal favorite prize package. So this one is Flower Power. This bag just blows me away, the little patchwork flower. She has a zipper pocket. Even all the zippers on these are upcycled from the denim, which is crazy to me. She unpicked the zipper and sewed it back in. The stitching on this one is really beautiful. I love the little heart carabiner. The inside has this really cute flower lining that kind of mimics the patchwork. And the yarn for this one is from local dyer, Dye Mad Yarns. And the color is one of a kind. This one, again, comes with scissors and a tape measure. The tape measure here is just a nice black leather. And we've got these really cute little floral scissors. And the stitch markers are little woodland themes. So we've got a little frog, flower, butterfly, a little snail. So cute. So those are the prize packages. I'm really jealous of whoever wins all of them, honestly. I hope you all like them. I think they're really great little sets. So let's pick a winner. All right, so I have the Google form where everyone is submitting their info. So I had that converted into an Excel spreadsheet. So it numbers the entries in the order that they were received. And then I used a random number generator to pick one of those numbers. And that's how we got our winners. So the winner is, I also have to say, for the first few people that entered, I was not yet asking for your name on the Google form, so I have corrected that, but I believe the winner's name, and I'll put it on the screen, is Mary Miraglia, and I apologize if I mispronounced that. I believe that is your name based on the email that you provided. This is the winning pair of socks. So cute, color blocked, love it. So congrats, Mary, hopefully that's your name. I will be sending you an email at the email you provided me, giving you all the details. I'll send photos of the prize packages for you to choose from, as well as the free pattern that was donated by Austin Taylor. Those are the altered mitered socks. I can put a photo of those here. So you'll be getting the prize package of your choosing and a copy of this pattern. And congrats and thank you for entering. I have to say, all of the entries that I've received have been so amazing. You guys are crushing it. We've had like 30 some entries and every pair is like amazing. Like they make me so happy every time I see them. So Thank you all so much for entering. I hope you'll continue to knit scrappy socks throughout the summer and keep getting those entries in. Like I said, if you've already entered, but you didn't win today, you're still in the running for the rest of the prizes throughout the summer. So congrats, Mary. I'll be reaching out to you. Look out for my email. And thank you so much to everyone who's entered. Thank you so much. All right, so should we get into the knitting? I know that was a lot of admin right up top. Let's start with what I'm wearing, and I'm obsessed. So this is my recently finished Hiesu by Vera Välimäki. You have never seen this before. I cast this on and finished it within 2 weeks this month, and it just kind of consumed me. So let me stand up and tell you a little bit about it. All right, so let's talk about this yarn first, because obviously the color is kind of the star of the show here. So this amazing color, which is probably getting blown out on screen because it's so bright, it is like a neon coral pink red kind of hybrid. It is from Diamond Yarns, who again are a local dyer. They have their own storefront here and they only sell their own hand-dyed yarn, which is amazing. The color is Fire Pink, which was part of their Ohio Wildflower series. It is their Jenny worsted base, 80% superwash merino, 20% alpaca. I just love this color. I went to the shop specifically to buy this color on local yarn store day, and I love it. So the top I also love, really love the pattern. You can see it has this great kind of scoopy neck. It has a short drop sleeve, and it has this gorgeous knit and purl texture. I did crop mine from the pattern, but I love the length of it. I think it turned out perfect. I also knit the neck ribbing about half as long as it was suggested in the pattern, because this is already a heavier yarn to begin with, and it's more of a summer silhouette, so I didn't want like a really high neckline. I think in general I shortened all of the ribbings a bit. I felt like what they called for in the pattern didn't really match the sample photo in the pattern. Like it seemed like what they were calling for was quite a bit longer than the sample photo, so I just kind of went with what I thought looked good. You can see it is a little bit longer in the back, and I don't know if that's just because the back yoke is a little bit longer or what, but I do find myself, like when it's just sitting naturally, it is quite a bit longer in the back, but that's okay. You can see it has a really nice shoulder detail. Here's the back. Again, I think it sits really nicely. This is a hand-dyed yarn. It is variegated. I didn't alternate skeins or anything. I let it just kind of do its thing, and I think it looks pretty good. I mean, there's maybe a little bit of color pooling in the body, but it's so bright, I feel like you don't even really notice that. I love it. I could see myself knitting many more, to be honest with you. It was such a quick, enjoyable knit. I did have to go down a needle size. I did gauge swatch for this one. It calls for a DK weight yarn, but that was going to be a very open gauge. So I don't know. I swatched it on the suggested needle size, and this is worsted weight yarn. I still felt like it was too open. So I did go down a needle size, and I love it. I love the fabric. The drape with that little bit of alpaca in it is gorgeous. As I was working on it, I kind of was like, I don't know if I'm really gonna wear this that much. I'm probably just gonna wear it around the house because the color is so wild. But now that it's done, I'm like, oh, I love it. This color like gives me power or something. Like it's so good and summery. So I'm probably gonna wear it to work tomorrow. I love it. So this pattern's kind of been popping up all over the place lately. I saw Tracy from the Grocery Girls knit one first. That's where I first saw it. And then my friend Jess knit one, and she was like raving about it. So I just cast one on, and again, it took me 2 weeks. So really quick, satisfying pattern. There's just enough going on to keep it interesting, but the pattern is so simple, you can memorize it like almost immediately. I definitely think I will be knitting another one. I think a mohair version would be amazing. I think you could easily add a long sleeve to this if you wanted to. And like when you pick up for the ribbing, you could just knit a sleeve instead. I think it would be gorgeous. So yeah, I definitely see more of these in my future, but this is kind of my summery hybrid one. I was a little bit worried about knitting a short sleeve top in a worsted weight wool and alpaca blend. But I have to say, it's like 90 degrees here today and I've been wearing it around the house. I was outside for a little bit and it feels great. So I think maybe that was a little bit unfounded. I could see if I was outside in the heat for a long time that I would overheat in this, but I think it's been very comfortable just wearing it around today. So I love it. Probably definitely one of my favorite garment finished projects in a while, and it was such a quick and easy one. So if you're looking for a quick win, I would recommend the Hiesu by Vera Valimaki. Oh, I made size 5 also, by the way. All right, let's get into the rest of the FOs. And the first one I'm gonna have to show you a photo of because they're not home with me. Little tiny thing, but just for fun. So I caught the Labubu hype. Labubu are these little furry monster toys. I'm sure you've seen them all over the internet. I wasn't really planning on like fighting the internet to get one, but the opportunity to have one kind of fell into my lap, so I took advantage of it. And excuse me, my coworker and I have our Labubu friends at work now, and obviously I had to knit outfits for them. So here's a picture of my Labubu and I made a little dress for it, and then the little hot pink sweater I made for my coworkers. And I used the patterns from Mackenzie at Into the Third released a Labubu wardrobe set, so that is where I got the pattern from. The little pink sweater is exactly to pattern the worsted weight sweater. The dress is the same pattern, but I hacked it to add the skirt. That's not in the pattern, but basically I just like knit the sweater and then did a round of increases and knit the skirt. It was pretty simple. Super fun. It took me like an hour to make these, and they're just really cute. So if you are also in the Labubu club, let me know below. Did you jump on the hype train? I need to know. And are you knitting clothes for them? I simply must know. So that was a really quick one. Let's go through some finished socks. So first, I finished these really early in the month. These are one of my scrappy pairs of socks for the scrappy summer sock along, and they were my second pair of D20 socks. So in the last podcast, I showed the fingering weight version of these. This is the DK weight version. So I used all the same colors. Basically, I had 20 colors from Stash, all scraps. And then I took a 20-sided die and I rolled the die. I assigned a color to each number, roll the die to pick a number, roll the die to pick the number of rows I knit. Sorry, I feel like I've explained this like 100 million times at this point. You're probably sick of hearing it. But yeah, so when you're holding yarns double, that results in this really fun kind of marled striping. These are for my partner Troy, and I think they turned out really, really fun. I love the DK weight version of these. Just all the marling is so good. For these ones, I did an afterthought heel. They are cuffed down with an afterthought heel. They're very cozy. So yeah, that's that. And then I'm also knitting this year, every time I finish a pair of socks, I'm knitting a tiny version as well, loosely using Summerlee's Tiny Tree sock. And around the holidays, I'm planning to like string them onto a garland. So here's the tiny version. This one was really fun. I used the same method, but I limited it to 8 colors, so you kind of get the same effect. Okay, next, this is crazy. So these are, again, probably started and finished since my last podcast. These are the Colorwork Cuff Club socks for July, which is the last month of the Colorwork Cuff Club by Summer Lee. So it is officially over now. Sad, but she seems to be teasing that she's gonna do like a second volume or something new starting in August. So we'll see what she comes out with. But I did manage to knit the Colorwork Cuff Club every single month of the year. There was only one month that I chose not to, like, I think it was October, that I chose not to knit the patterns from that month, but I did still knit one of the Cuff Club patterns in that month. So every month for the past year, I've knit one of these patterns, and I'm kind of sad it's over. Part of me is also ready to like move on to another project, so we'll see what her new club is going to be. But I do think one of my Friday Fiber chats in August is going to be me going through the whole club, showing you the socks I made each month so you can see like the whole year of my Colorwork Cuff Club. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. But here is the last pair. So this was a fun cuff club, kind of simple but effective. So really this portion is the Colorwork cuff. So it's just a 2x1 vertical stripe, and then there is some corrugated ribbing. And then the rest of it is just stripes. So I think it's pretty effective. The colors I used here were a mini set that I purchased from Destination Yarn on local yarn store day. They were doing a pop-up at Yarn Birds. And this is their postcard mini set, fingering weight, 75/25 superwash merino nylon. And there were 5 minis, six minis. So there was the blue, and then this is a dark gray, 2 shades of purple, and then we had the yellow and the green. And I just thought these would be fun to use in the stripes this way. You don't get a ton of credit for the contrast in the top, but I think when you see them up close, it is really effective. Definitely not the most summery colors, but I think they turned out really nice. I mean, they're a little crazy, like these colors on the foot are kind of crazy, but at least your foot is usually, or the foot is usually in a shoe. So really you'll just be seeing this kind of pretty part here. So again, these are gonna end up being a gift for someone. I'm not 100% sure yet, but these will go in the gift pile. The miniature version, I spent way too long on. I ended up just doing horizontal stripes for the top portion because I didn't want to do color work, but it's pretty close. It's very cute. All right, last pair of socks, and this is also an exciting one. This is a new design that's going to be coming out soon. So I think I showed you the first one last time, but I finished the pair now. Let me see which one was yes, so this was the first one that I knit. These are going to be called the eyelet edge socks, and you can see that little edge was just inspired by like scalloped eyelet lace. So it has a very cute scalloped edge, which is achieved with a dip stitch. So you start with a purl row, and that gives you that really pretty defined edge. And then you work a little bit of lace, which this was the prototype. I think the lace, I tried a different method, and I do think the lace is improved on the new version. It's more clear and easy to see. And then you work some stockinette. You do the dip stitch, which you can see a little bit. That's what creates the scallop. And then there is a little bit of twisted rib. And then from there, it's really just a vanilla sock. So it's all about that frilly edge. And you also cast on extra stitches at the beginning to give it a little bit of like that frilling out effect. So it's not a huge ruffle, but it's enough that it like stands away and gives it a little bit of volume. So I'm really pleased with these. I'm glad I made the change to the lace on the second version. I do think you can see it a lot better. You still don't get quite as much credit for it as I would like, just because it's a small space and there's a lot going on, but I think it does add a nice texture. So you could definitely knit it without the eyelets and just have the really cute little scalloped edge. That would also be super nice. So I think there are both options. The pattern will have the eyelets, but you could easily just omit them if you didn't want to add them. So very simple but fun little pattern. I am going to release this as a free pattern, hopefully soon, hopefully in the next like couple of weeks. No promises, but I am working on it. This beautiful yarn is a sock set that I purchased from La Mercerie's Year of Socks a couple of years ago. It was dyed by Through the Wardrobe Yarn Co., and the colorway is Pirouette. It's their Romantasy sock base, which is a 75/25 blend. And I just love these pinky neutrals. And then the mini was this beautiful light, like periwinkle. So yeah, really pleased with these. I hope you all like them too. As I said, that will be a free pattern coming out soon. And I want to say too, I've had a couple people comment and say like, oh, you should charge for that. You know, like, why are your sock patterns free? And to be totally transparent with you, I work as a fashion designer professionally. And it is seen as a conflict of interest for me to profit from like knitting or sewing patterns. So I choose to release them for free because I still want to put my ideas out in the world, and it's really fun for me to kind of like make patterns. It kind of scratches like a different part of my brain, but I do release them for free because otherwise it's seen as a conflict of interest for me. So I foresee that being the case into the future. So I will continue probably releasing free patterns every now and then just because it's fun for me to do so. But yeah, that is why they are free for anyone who was wondering. Because I did have a couple people ask. The tiny sock version of this, I didn't do the ruffle or anything. I just did the basic little sock with the pop toe. All right, that is it for finished object socks. Last finished object, I also do not have here with me today. I will put a photo in. It is the Basic Doodle KAL by Pacific Knit Co. And this is a sample for an upcoming class that I'm going to be teaching at So to Speak. It is the Intro to Stranded Colorwork class. And I thought this pattern would just be perfect because all of the repeats are very simple. You don't have to catch any floats. Yeah, but you get lots of practice and you can have fun with mixing and matching the motifs. You can use as few as 2 colors or as many colors as you want. So there's a lot of flexibility, but the motifs themselves are very beginner and it's all just knit in the round. So yeah, really excited to be offering this class in October. If you're local or know anyone who is, check it out. I'll have it linked down below, but I did finish this. The yarn I used, unfortunately, So to Speak, is not going to be carrying this yarn anymore, but it was like a recycled polyester acrylic blend, which normally would not be my first choice for color work, but I wanted this project to be at an approachable price point. That yarn was only like $4 or $5 a ball. So, you know, if you have to go out and buy 4 skeins of hand-dyed yarn, or even 2, you're looking at like $60 to $100+. Whereas with this yarn, you could take the class, complete the project for around $20 for materials. So I think it actually knitted up really nicely considering that this was acrylic. I wasn't sure how well it would look in colorwork, but I think it looks great. So yeah, that was kind of a different experience. It wasn't as enjoyable to knit colorwork with this yarn as it is with wool, but I think it turned out really nicely. So yeah, I'm excited about that class. Probably be knitting a couple more of these in the future along with the class participants. So yes, that is my last knitting finished object. Okay, now I have all my spinning. So let's talk about Tour de Fleece. Today is officially the last day of Tour de Fleece. This year it ran from, I think, July 5th to July 27th. And basically all it is that you try to spin, meet your own spinning goals, set your own goals, while Tour de France is happening, the cycling competition. So they're spinning on their bikes, we're spinning on our wheels. That's kind of the whole thing. But it's a very like, there are some community events, like you could join a team, but you don't have to. Like I didn't join a team. My whole thing was I just wanted to spin every day. I had a certain amount of fiber I wanted to get through, and I was able to do that. So let me show you what I did. So my first goal was to get through my Kira Wiggins fiber clubs. This year I have been getting a 50 gram bat from her once a month and really been enjoying them, but I'd gotten a little bit behind and I was able to catch up. So the first one I finished was this gorgeous one. Hopefully you can see a little bit of that sparkle in there. This one's called Painted Pearl. It is a beautiful like pinky mauve, and the whole thing has like a ton of stellina sparkle in it. This color was Painted Pearl. It was 35% merino, 25% baby alpaca, 25% Shetland, and 15% nylon, which the nylon is the Fire Star, the kind of sparkle that's in there. And she is a sport weight. So my plan for the Kira Wiggins Fiber Club is to basically just spin them all up individually, and then at the end kind of assess if I want to make a big colorwork project or a striped sweater or something with them. And just kind of see what all the colors are. The next one was this, which is definitely not a usual color for me, but it was really fun to spin. It is called Sweet Honey Buckin, and this one has a lot of drape. It was super interesting to spin because it had a lot of linen in it. So this one was 50% Polworth, 25% flax, 15% alpaca, and 10% Tussa silk. So that's where you're getting the drape. It does have a really cool hand because of the linen. It's less consistent than some of the others because of the linen chunks that were in it, but still pretty pleased with it. But yeah, like if you compare these, like the drape on this one compared to this, it's kind of wild. All right, and the last one of those is probably my favorite of the club so far, this one. It's called Tricks Are for Kids, which is hilarious, and it's this beautiful periwinkle, but it has pops of like lime green and pink and like a lighter teal throughout. The makeup of this one was 40% Corriedale, 40% BFL, 20% Tussa silk. So it's been really fun to get to try all these different fiber combinations in the club. And these are the 3 that I spun up during Tour de Fleece. They're all around a sport weight. And then 2 more that I spun up, and I'm really excited about these because this has been an ongoing project for like over a year at this point. I have been spinning 6 braids for a night shift shawl, and these were the last 2. So I'm ready to cast that on soon. The first one I finished was this one. It's really beautiful, kind of tonal purple. And this is from Fat Cat Knits, hand-painted tops and bats on Etsy. They were, all 6 of these braids were from them. The color is plum, and this is 4 ounces of targhee. So this is also about a sport to DK weight. That's about where all of these have been. The solid color ones, definitely not as fun to spin as the variegateds. Later on in the podcast, when I talk about plans, I'll show you all 6 together and talk about that a little bit more because I'm hoping to cast that on soon. All right, and last but not least, this one is not finished yet. I have not soaked it or set it or measured it or thwacked it or anything. I just finished plying it this morning, and it is probably my most favorite spin of all time. This is the same. It's from Fat Cat Knits. It's 4 ounces of targhee. This one is called Beats. Wow, it's amazing. I am obsessed with it. It is all reds and magentas and purples. I think it is gorgeous. Love. Oh, that color is so beautiful. I could honestly see like doing a sweater spin in this. I think would be so good. Wow, now I have ideas. I think after finishing this giant spinning project, my next thing is like, I want to do a sweater spin. Like a traveler crew or something in this would be really, really gorgeous. So yes, that is it. This is all of my spinning from Tour de Fleece. 3 50-ounce bats and 2 4-ounce, or 50 grams, and 2 4-ounce braids. And that was like the minimum. That was what I expected to get done during Tour de Fleece. This was what I wanted to get done. I do have 2 more fiber quantities that I would like to spin in my stash, but I did not expect to get to them during Tour de Fleece. And I talked about those in my Tour de Fleece Friday Fiber chat from last month if you want to hear more. But yeah, really pleased. Feels really good to get all these done, and I really enjoy spinning a little bit every day. I think I will probably take a little bit of a break now just because it is definitely a trade-off. Like, time spent spinning is time that I'm not knitting or sewing, so it gets hard to balance all of the different hobbies, but I love being able to dedicate like 3 weeks in the summer to spinning and that kind of being the main focus. Like, you'll see that I have fewer whips to share with you today because I was doing a lot more spinning than knitting, but still managed to get this done. I have the socks, you know, I do have a few things to show you, but the spinning definitely took like front and center precedence as my main craft over the past 3 weeks. So really pleased with that, but I will take a little bit of a break now and probably get back to it in the fall. Okay, wow, I think that is it for finished objects. We're only 35 minutes in, it's fine. Let's move on to works in progress. All right, so I actually only have 4 whips to share with you today, which is maybe a lot for some people, but for me, that's like less than half of what I usually have. So let's jump into it. We can start with some socks. So I did just finish the striped colorwork cuff club socks and eyelet edge socks like right in the past couple of days, right here at the end of the month. So I don't have like too many other socks going on right now. One I'm making very slow progress on are my Surf Wax socks. These are a pattern from Summer Lee's book, The Sock Project. I am knitting my way through that book. I'm still on the first one. I am kind of stalling out on the foot. I don't know what it is. I really need to just kind of push through and at least finish one of these. I need to finish this pair by the end of September, so I do kind of need to get a move on these. I think it's just like they're one solid color, like it's, I don't know, the stitch pattern, you know, you have to pay a little bit more attention to it than you would like a vanilla sock or even like a color work chart. Really, that for me, this takes a little bit more brain power. So I am still really enjoying them. I'm just finding it a bit harder to want to like sit down and work on these ones. So I will finish them. But yeah, haven't made a ton of progress on that one. Probably put in like 4 or 5 repeats on the foot and that's it, but still chugging away on those. The yarns are, let me see, this gorgeous main color is from Northern Bee Studio. It's their yak sock base, 20% yak, 10% nylon, 70% superwash merino. The color is the Madam's Velvet Couch. And then the contrast green, this is a La Bien-Aimée twist sock color that I can never remember the name of, but it's this beautiful dark teal. So those are still going on in the background. I cast on a new sock last night and I love it. I'm really excited to show you. So I wanted to cast on another pair of my Scrappy Summer sock, long socks. That's a mouthful. Scrappy Summer socks. And I am going to be knitting the Herding Hen socks by Stone Knits, which have little chickens on them. These are going to be for my partner Troy. I can't even. I cast these on last night and they're so cute. Look at the chickens. I cannot. So these are inspired by a game called 368 Chickens. It is just like a free online game. It's kind of like Tetris, but it's chickens. And I'm basing these off the like color scheme of the game and the chickens in the game. So we've got this cute light blue cuff and then a navy blue background. The first chicken, look at him. I cannot, it's so cute. There's the red for the crown and then the little yellow feet. Oh, so stinking cute. I just knit this in one sitting last night. I couldn't stop. It was so addictive. And then there are 3 other colors for the chickens. So this is the first one. And then the next one is gonna be this really sunny yellow. And then we have white. And then a different yellow, which is a little bit more orange. Here's those 2 next to each other. They are similar, but this one is more lemony and this one's a little bit more golden. So yeah, there'll be 3 chickens on the leg and 3 on the foot, I believe. So yeah, so cute. I'm obsessed. They're super, super fun. I did have to slightly modify the pattern to meet my stitch count. So the stitch counts in the pattern are, I think, you know, it's increments of 8, 16, I can't remember. But basically for the chart, it was like 64, 72 or 80, whatever. And so like you cast on the cuff and then you increase size for the chart. But I know that I needed 64 stitches was fine for the cuff. And then I only also wanted 64 stitches for the chart. I didn't want to go up a whole size just because I know how these need to fit for the person I'm giving them to. So I did end up having to, I added an extra stitch between the repeats basically to like spread them out a little bit more. And I did have to add 1 extra stitch. So my chart has 65 stitches just to make the chart fit. So sorry, that was a little in the weeds, but just to explain, so I have 65 stitches in the chart, 64 stitches in the cuff and like for the heel. But yeah, they're just so fun. I'm afraid I might be starting like a stone knit sock obsession now. Now that I feel really confident with colorwork socks after knitting the whole year of Summer Lee's Colorwork Cuff Club, I'm ready to dive into some of the more like all over colorwork socks, and this is just like a very fun place to start. And all the yarns I'm using for this are scraps, except for a couple of the yellow colors. Those were minis, but like the shades of blue, the white, the red that I'm using for the little combs, that was all scraps. So yeah, super fun, really enjoying those. Okay, next is a cute little whip. It is a baby knit I'm working on for my coworker. This is the Hold Your Baby set by Petite Knit. It's a really cute little color blocked stripy set, and I finished the body of the sweater. So here, oh my god, it's so cute. So the yarns I'm using are Cascade 220 Superwash Fingering. It's 100% Superwash Merino. And the whitish kind of color here is called Sand. And then the other color is Periwinkle. So it's just super, super cute little 4-row stripes, drop shoulder guy. Did finish the body and the hem. So this one still needs a neckband and sleeves, but those should be pretty quick. And then there's a really cute little matching set of pants that for me, they are solid navy for me. They will be, and then they have contrasting ribbing and like a cute little contrast drawstring. So yep, need to get a move on that. I think I'll be hopefully giving that to my coworker sometime in the next couple months when she comes back from maternity leave. So just a real cute little project. I'm knitting the size 3 to 6 months for that. Okay, and last one already. I told you I barely have any whips this time. It is Andrea Mowry's Ooey Gooey, the new Rhinebeck sweater pattern. I have to say, I talked about this on my Friday Fiber Chat about this sweater. I hate the name. I hate saying it. It sounds gross to me. I just don't like it. I think the sweater is beautiful. I can put a photo of it here. I really like the kind of retro looking like wavy colorwork motif. I think it's gorgeous. I had some yarn and stash that I could use for it, so that is what I'm doing, but I hate the name. I'm curious what you all think. I know some of you already commented on the other video that you also don't like the name, so I might just call it the Rhinebeck sweater because I hate saying the name. But I did cast this on. I worked on it pretty intensely for like a couple of days and then haven't picked it up since, so haven't made a ton of progress, but I will show you what I have. The yarns I had in stash for this are, the main color is this, which is Kelborn Woolen's Cricket. It is a single ply tweed base in this gorgeous dark purple. Hopefully you can see all the little specks of tweed in there. And it is 100% merino wool, 115 yards for 100 grams. The color of this is mulberry. So I am a little bit worried about using a single ply for the body, but I think it'll be okay. It's a sport weight, it's a pretty dark color. There is a possibility with it being single ply that it will torque a little bit over time, that the body will kind of twist, but we will see. Hopefully it doesn't, but this is what I had in stash and I really wanted to use what I had, so I am using this. I do think it is next to skin soft for me, especially after washing, but it's definitely more rustic than like the Spin Cycle that I'm using for the contrast color. Speaking of which, this is my contrast color. It is Spin Cycle dyed in the wool Wallflower. This is 100% superwash, but it really doesn't feel like your standard superwash. It has a really tight ply, so yeah, I don't know, but it's a pretty subtle color changing guy. It's just really pretty shades of pink and purple. And here's what I have. So let me turn it so you can see. Here's what I have. It's a little bit hard to show right now. I did finish the first section of the color work, so you can see that. One thing I'm also not sure about on this pattern are these welts. So let me back up. You cast on with the Spin Cycle, you knit the ribbing. There are short rows in the ribbing, which is a nice feature. And then you knit a little bit in stockinette, and then there are these welts in the contrast color. And I'm just not sure about them. I'm just not sure about them. I think they look kind of messy. And that could be obviously because it's not blocked yet. It's also my main color yarn, the tweed, is a little bit thick and thin, so they are a little bit inconsistent in thickness. I'm hopeful that when it blocks, it's gonna look nice. I'm just not sure if I love it as a design detail. I did think about omitting it, but I ultimately decided not to. I do love the color work. I think that's turning out really cute. So I'd like to get back to this week and do a little bit more work on it. There's really not that much color work in the yoke. There's this, and then there's maybe like another repeat of the drippy motif, and then there's like the little dots, and that's kind of it. It's a little bit of a shorter color work on the yoke. And then I think will be the test after that, because then it's just going to be sport weight body and sleeves in a solid dark color. So we'll see. I am liking how it looks a lot. I think it's very cute. We will see if I can power through. I think it would be very nice to have like a sport weight sweater in this more kind of rustic-y wool. I think I would probably get a lot of wear out of it, but yeah, we'll just have to see. Curious if any of you are also knitting this. Let me know about your color combos, what you think of it. I definitely get caught up in the excitement every year. Last year I cast on the framed, but I did not finish it. So I am hoping to finish this one, or, you know, like the tessellated, I started during the knit along and I didn't finish it for like a year, but it's one of my favorite sweaters. So I do think I will finish it, but we'll just see how long it takes. All right, that's it for whips. Let's talk a little bit of acquisitions and some knitting plans. All right, so a couple of weekends ago, Yarn Birds, which is a yarn truck that like travels around to a bunch of different fiber festivals, maybe you've seen them at one that's local to you. They actually have a home base here in Columbus, like very close to where I live, that is only open like once or twice a week or for special events, but it is so gorgeous and they have such a beautiful selection. I featured them in the local yarn store day video I made earlier this year, which I can link below. They had a 9th anniversary event on a Saturday, excuse me, and I ended up going with my friend Nicole, the one who made all the bags for our giveaway, and I picked up a few things, so let me share those with you now. First of all, they had a custom dyed colorway of sock yarn from Dye Mad Yarns, again, the local dyer, the ones who dyed this, that was to celebrate their birthday. So this is that. It's so cute. It reminded me of like mint chocolate chip ice cream. I just really, really liked it. I didn't really have anything like quite like this. Haven't knit socks with a similar really color to this. It's kind of like a light aqua. I just thought it was really pretty. The color is called Grab Yo Drink. And yeah, it's their 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon base. So just thought that was really fun. And then I did get 2 project quantities. So the first one that I could not resist, but am now slightly annoyed about, but no, I shouldn't even say that. Let me explain. I saw this hot pink from Ruby and Roses, which is so neon, it's just gonna get blown out on the camera. But I think that compared to this shows you that this is a little bit more coral. This is a little bit more of a true neon pink. This is their soft rose base. It's an 85-15 superwash merino nylon blend, true fingering weight, 437 yards for 100 grams. And the color is Material Girl, so it is of course Barbie coated. And I got 3 of these. And I was initially thinking I would make a Skyline tee by Toriu, but now I kind of want to make the Uptown tee, which I can put a picture of here. It's the one that has the mesh sleeves. I'll probably make the sleeves a little bit longer, but I think that would be really cute in this. And the reason I say I'm annoyed is because I have used Ruby and Roses before. I used them for my Daft Days cardigan that I made last year as my Vlogmas project. And I really struggled because the yarn was scented. They use a scented wool wash and it was very strong on my custom order from them, like almost to the point where I had an allergic reaction to it. And I picked this up in the store and I was smelling it and I was like, oh, it's not scented, it's not scented. That's so great. So that was the reason I felt like okay buying it. But then when I got home, now I realize it is scented. I think there were just other scents going on in the store, like maybe they had a candle burning or, you know, other wool, like it was just a lot going on. So I think something there was like masking it, and it is also scented. It is not nearly as strong as the yarn that I used last year, but it is definitely still there a little bit, and I just wish they wouldn't do that. But I did email them last year and say, you know, you may want to consider, like some people may have allergies to fragrance. They said that they've gotten great feedback on it and they weren't going to change it. So I should have known better. I do think the yarn is beautiful. It's extremely soft. I'm still going to use it, but I need to just learn my lesson and not buy their yarn anymore because that scent really does irritate me. So lesson learned, but I am excited to knit a fun tee in this crazy bright yarn. I did get 3 skeins of that for a tee, which might be too much. So if I have one left over, that'll be super fun socks. Next is a sweater quantity I'm extremely excited about. I have wanted to knit Andrea Mowry's Come Back Again ever since she released it a few months ago. Here's a picture of that. It is just gorgeous. This all over texture cardigan. I love the boxy fit. It is knit bottom up, which I don't love, but I will power through. And I found this perfect yarn for it, which is this. It might look black, but it is actually a very dark brown. The color is called Hickory. And this is from Opus Yarns, which I have not used before, but their yarns are gorgeous. It is 70% Argentinian Merino, 30% baby alpaca, 100% awesome. That's what it says on the label. It's 384 yards for 100 grams. And as I said, the colorway is Hickory. And I am going to be using this for the Come Back Again, which I think will be really beautiful. Even in this really dark color, I think you'll still get credit for that stitch texture. And then I'm thinking like a really pretty like redwood kind of button would be really nice on this. So yeah, this will probably be a fall or like winter cast on. We will see, but I love that really deep dark brown. Really pretty. Okay, couple more acquisitions. As I said, I'm teaching at So to Speak now, so I do get a teacher discount there, which is nice. And I was in there the other day talking to them about setting up my color work class, and they had just gotten in a huge box of Coats & Co. sock yarn. And they are based in Ohio, which is awesome. Love to support local. And I saw what was in this box and I just was like, gobble, gobble, gobble. Like I was like, I need that, I need that. They hadn't even put it out on the floor yet. But I was like, I'm gonna buy those. So I bought, and I didn't even really pick these with anything particular in mind. But then seeing them all together, now I have a plan for them. So I bought 2 full skeins, these 2. So the green is, what color are you? Pistachio. And the pinky purple is lilac. And these are both their cottage sock base, which is a 75-25 blend, but it has a lot more, it's like a firm yarn. Like it has a lot more body to it than like the dyed yarns, for example. Like, do you see the drape? Like this one just kind of flops over. These are like very firm, and I really like their sock yarn a lot. So yeah, I got these 2, and then they had a bunch of minis. So I got these 3 minis. So the pink is fuchsia, the burgundy is mulberry, and then this one is dark teal. So I just picked out the ones that kind of called to me. And then I saw them all together. And one of the first plans I was going to tell you about today was that I am going to participate in Stephen West's surprise sock along, which is kind of like the mystery shawl, but it's socks, and that takes place in August. So it actually starts on the 29th, which is 2 days from now. And I had picked out some other like mini skeins and scraps from my stash that I wanted to use for that. But it wasn't really, I wasn't that excited about the combo. Like it wasn't really calling to me. This year the theme is delectable collectible, or collectible delectables, or something like that. It's kind of like candy inspired. And then I just had these together when I was prepping for the podcast, and I was like, oh, I have to use these for my socks. Like, how fun are those all together? You need 5 contrasting colors for the socks, and I just think these are like so fun together. So I'm gonna use these for those socks, which again, that starts in a couple of days. If you're interested or you're planning on participating, let me know. But I am going to be using these now for that project, and now I'm really excited to cast on. I need to wind these up today, but now I'm like, I can't wait to get started. And I think there should be enough left over of the main skeins to knit some other colorwork socks or something after. I'm running out of room to put things. All right, so that's the end of the acquisitions, but I do have a few more plans I wanted to talk to you about. I definitely have the cast on energy right now. I kind of haven't had it for a while. I've been in more of a project finishing mode, where I got my whips down to 8, if you can believe. It's rare for me to have less than 10, but right now I think after I cast on the chicken socks, now I have 9, but I'm probably gonna cast on like 4 or 5 projects in the next week. Oh, I should also say, you're probably like, Sarah, on your last podcast, you said you were gonna finish your middling cardigan. I did say that. I haven't touched it since then. I don't know why. I think this kind of consumed me, and then with all the spinning, I just didn't get to it, but I do still really want to finish that. It's super high on my list. I think I might be able to finish it by the end of the month, but we will see. I really want to finish it before the next podcast. Who knows what's going to happen, but I am going to finish that. It is almost done. It just needs one more sleeve and the button band. So it is high on the list. I didn't forget about it. Next thing I want to cast on is another pair of scrappy socks. And it is these little rainbow cakes. I can't remember where I got these. I think Jess might have given me these out of her stash, but I can't remember. Jess, if you gave me these, let me know, because I really can't remember. But they're just some leftover self-striping, really, really cute. And then there is a little bit of a cream mini as well. And I really just wanted a simple vanilla sock on the go. And I'm trying to get through these scrappy summer socks. So probably cast these on and start knitting through those just to have on the go. And those are gonna live in my really gorgeous Line Study Textiles bag that I picked up at Rhinebeck last year. Love this. Okay, 2 more. Which one should we do first? Let's save the best for last. Something else I would like to cast on soon. I bought this yarn at Rhinebeck in last October, and recently I just have not been able to get this design out of my head. Like, I was thinking, what do I want to cast on? Do I want to cast on another sweater? And this is the one that just kept coming into my mind every time. And though it's not the most seasonally appropriate right now, I would love to be able to wear this throughout the fall and winter and even maybe spring of next year. And that is the Dion pullover by Natasha Hornby. Here is a photo. This is not her photo. This is a test knitter's photo, but this is the version that lives rent-free in my brain and that I would like to emulate. So Natasha's version is much more fitted. It has less positive ease and it has waist shaping to bring it in at the waist, so it's very fitted. I love this version so much, that is big and oversized and long and just kind of like skims the body. I think just with like a skirt under this, something about this one is just very beautiful to me. So I would love to go for this vibe. So I'm gonna choose one that's slightly more oversized, and I'm actually gonna add hip shaping to mine. So I'll knit straight down to the waist, and then I'm gonna calculate hip shaping because my hips are bigger than my top, and I want it to just skim the way it does in the photo. And if I just knit mine straight, it would be tight on the hips. So I'm gonna add hip shaping. I'm just obsessed with the top of this sweater. I think it is so beautiful. Like, you basically cast on a raw edge and knit a little bit of like, I think a round yoke. And then you cast on ribbing, and it has this piece around the shoulder that gives it like an off the shoulder look. Something about it is almost like medieval looking, especially this photo. Like, I just think it's beautiful. The yarn I'm gonna be using is also very special. It is this, which is Kent DK from Bare Naked Wools. I picked this up, like I said, at Rhinebeck at their booth. It is just gorgeous. Like, it is so squishy and bouncy, but very soft. The color is absolutely beautiful. They are all natural colors, so it's undyed. This is 60% merino wool, 40% Romney. and I'm just really excited to work with it. I think the color is great. I think in that sweater, I'm just really excited. So this is the one I really want to cast on the most, but we'll see, because I do have other sweater projects that I want to finish. You may remember the one that is giving me guilt right now is my checkered sweater that I started on my birthday last year, and I've barely knit past the ribbing. I don't know why, because I have a lot of love for the project, but it's just kind of living there on the shelf. I think at this point I might kind of, instead of casting on a new birthday sweater this year, I might just kind of re-up that one and revisit it, because it's kind of making me feel bad that it's just been sitting there. I'm like, if I give myself a new, like a restart, like I'm gonna restart that one on my birthday, I think that could be a way to go. And I don't want to cast on a new like special birthday project until the one from the previous year is done. So we'll see what happens with that. Okay. Really excited about the night shift shawl. I showed you the last 2 skeins of yarn that I spun, but I just want to show you all of them together now that they're all done. So these are the 6 skeins that I'm going to be using for my night shift shawl. I really love how they turned out. So I have 4 that are variegated, and then I have 2 that are tonal. They're all fat cat knits, they're all Targhee, and this is the order that I spun them in. How can I show you this without dumping out the basket? So this was the first one I spun, and I think this one is called Tiny Dancer. Yeah, really pretty. And you can see there's some color overlap between them. So I'm hoping I'll get sections of the shawl where there's less contrast and some where there's more contrast. The second one I spun was this, which was called Lipstick Diva, and you can see that shares some of the purple and some of the reds. Then I spun this solid light purple, which you can see is shared in here a little bit. And then this one is definitely the most different. This one is called Nebula, but you can see it still has some of that purple and some of that red and a little bit of the coral, but it also has that teal because I did want a little bit of a pop. And then the last 2 I spun the purple and the beets. So yeah, I am very excited to cast this on. I need to finish this last skein, and then I am hopefully going to cast this on soon. I did debate if I should cast it on now or wait until after the West Knits KAL, because I will participate in the mystery shawl knit along in October. But I think I want to start it now, and if it gets put on hold during the West Knits KAL and I revisit it later, I think that's fine. I've been waiting for so long to have these yarns ready to go. Now that they are ready, I'm really just itching to cast this on. So I will probably cast it on sooner rather than later, but we'll see. All right, that is it. That was a lot today. I already talked about teaching it, so to speak. If you're interested in checking out the classes, I'll have them linked below. Talked about Tour de Fleece. I really enjoyed it this year. If you participated, I'd love to hear about your experience. I really look forward to it. This was my 2nd year participating. I think I will participate again next year. And then lastly, my knitting friend Jess. Hi Jess, if you're watching, she's coming to visit soon. So really excited about that. We'll do all kinds of fun knitty stuff. We'll probably like record a video together. So that's exciting. I don't really have any like great friends nearby that are into knitting. So I feel like when Jess is in town, we're just gonna be chilling and knitting and like going to yarn stores and nerding out about knitting. So I'm really excited for that. And that is really it. So I know that was a lot today, lots of fun stuff though. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did not win the Scrappy drawing for the socks today, please keep submitting your photos, keep knitting Scrappy socks. You have 2 more chances to win. And I will be announcing when the drawings are going to be on Instagram, so make sure you follow me over there. Yeah, thank you again to everyone who's participated in that. It brings me so much joy every time I get to see your photos. And if you've been tagging on Instagram for that, the hashtag is Scrappy Summer Sock Along 2025. I'll put that on the screen here because it's a long one. Posting on Instagram is optional. It's just if you want to share your progress over there, totally up to you. Yeah, that is really it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you get a ton of crafting time in, and yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.